How
yet.
are you feeling though? How are you? Because we didn't even get into the injuries. You mentioned it. Like you mentioned the back injury. Like how did that happen? Like what was coming back from that? Like because you had two injuries. You had a back injury, which essentially you said paralyzed you, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then after that, you had the foot injury, which produced one of the great videos on your social media, just you hitting the bag while sitting down.
Oh man, the back injury um was like kind of seen it coming, but like prayed it was just gonna go away, you know. Uh,
Mm.
I guess I didn't realize how serious it was, but I knew I was in a lot of pain. I was in excruciating pain, but I just kind of hoped it would go away.
How did it happen? You
But
say?
so I had
It-
just training over time.
I was
I
just.
had my L4, L5, S1. I had disc issues,
Hey.
and I had really bad sciatic pain, and but I didn't realize how bad it was. I thought like, I thought it was something that could be helped with like therapy and stuff. So I would do therapy, and then I would, I'd feel good, and then I'd train, and then I took the fight for before that for it was May. The fight was in May of 2021, and
Mhm.
I wanted this fight so bad because it was back home. It was the day after my birthday. It was at an arena that I've always wanted to fight at. It's actually at the arena I'll be making my pro debut. It was with Fierce Fight Championships, and it's where I'll be making my debut with, and it's at the arena that I'll be making my debut at. So I'm still gonna fight there, super excited. But
Sick.
at this time, I wanted this fight so bad because yeah, everything just added up. My first fight back, I was levels different. I was levels better. I couldn't wait to show and perform, and it was at the arena I've always wanted to fight at. I had already sold so many tickets, and everybody was excited. And then my back, the pain got really bad, and so I went to see a pain doctor, a pain clinic. They got me on some like nerve numbing pills, and I started those, and they worked like really well at first. And I just went crazy. It's just training hard as shit. And then all of a sudden my body got used to the pills, and then all of a sudden I was just in pain, so much pain. So then I went back to the doctor, and he said, okay, we can do an injection. I was like, okay, cool. Because at this point I was like 6 weeks out from my fight,
Yeah.
and I had already sold tickets and sold shirts, and I was like, I was set. I was getting to this fight. So I got the
So much. Yeah.
injection, and it was supposed to last like 6 months. And it worked. I felt good. I felt okay. It was still in pain, but wasn't enough that I couldn't work through it. So sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, got back to training, felt good. And then I was like 3 weeks. So at this point I was 3 weeks out, and then pain came back worse. And I was like, shit. So I went back to the doctor, and I was like, we got to do it again. And he's like, we can't, it's too soon. And I'm like, I got to do it again. I have a fight in 3 weeks. I was like, I just got to make it there. And then I was like, I promise I'll do what I got to do after this fight, but I just got to get to this fight because and I was gonna make money. I already
Yeah.
sold so
It's
many. Whenever I fight at
difficult.
home, I sell a lot of tickets, and I was gonna make a lot of money off ticket sales. The manager that I had at the time had negotiated, so I was like, I need to go make this money, and I've already sold these tickets. Like I got to get there. So, uh, um, get the other injection, and like I
You
said,
did
after the
in
first
the end like
injection,
say okay. Well, because
yeah,
at first he was like, no, right? Like it's medically not sound, or not the right thing to do.
yeah, and that's why a lot of people say like you should sue, but I'm like, I kind of talked them into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll sue myself. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So get the other injection, and after the first injection, like the next day I felt good. Actually that night I felt like a difference. So after the second injection, I'm like laying there, and I'm just not the pain is not getting any better. It's almost getting worse. And I'd call episodes where like the sciatic nerve would just get attacked, and it was just like I couldn't move, and if I did move, I like almost like was screaming. The pain was so bad. So like I had, so it was the night after the night of the injection. I got up to like make a yogurt bowl or something, and I was in the kitchen, and all of a sudden like I moved, and I had like an episode, and I couldn't move. And I lived with 2 nurses at the time, and I'm like freaking out, like crying and screaming because the pain was just so intense. I can't even explain the pain. It's so excruciating. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And so they finally get me down, and I, like laying down was the pain would go away, but getting to laying down was like so much pain. I would like literally scream just getting there. And so they like got me on the couch, and I was just like couldn't really move. So finally I was like, just take me to my bed. Take me to my bed. I'll wake up. I should be fine. So they take me to my bed, and it was the worst pain getting there. And then I wake up the next morning, and I have to use the restroom. And I try to like get up, and I like walk like 5 steps, and I just can't even walk to the bathroom because the pain was so intense still. And sitting down was like, oh my God, I couldn't, like, it was the pain when I sat was so bad. So I was like, I can't walk to the bathroom. There's no way I'm going to be able to sit down and use the restroom because the pain, I know it's going to hurt so bad. So I laid down, and I like laid there all day, and like, it just didn't change. And then 5 o'clock came, and I was still in pain. So at this point, it's 5 p.m. I still have not used the restroom. I still have not left my bed.
Holding it in for that
long. I still have not been able to really walk. So I'm like, okay, something's wrong. So I called my friend Josh, and I'm like, hey, something's wrong. I need you to come help me. So he comes over, and he knocks on the door, and it was locked, and it was downstairs. And I was like, so I had to get up and walk down there, and by the time I got to him through the door, I was like screaming in so much pain, like agony. And I was like, just get me to the fucking couch. So he gets me to the couch, and at this point, it's like, 6 o'clock, and I still have not used the restroom. So I've not been able to use the restroom. And I'm like, finally, so we call the doctor and tell him, and he's like, we're not going to block this again. We're not going to, put a Band-Aid on it. Something's wrong. So obviously, finally I was like, fuck it, call the ambulance, I guess. So we call the ambulance, and they come and they get me, and they're just pumping me with meds. Like, they gave me everything under the sun just on the way there, and I was still in pain. And then I get into the ER, and they're giving me all these meds, and I'm telling them, I'm like, I need a catheter. I cannot pee. And they're like, oh, here's a bedpan. Da, da, da. I'm like, it's not that. Something is wrong. I physically cannot, And they say, like, when you're having problems like that and you can't use the restroom, like, something is wrong.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
wait, so like they actually couldn't, like, it's not just the fact that you couldn't walk there, it's more like you couldn't even push, like.
Yeah, and these nurses aren't listening to me, and they're just giving, and I'm in so much pain, they just keep giving me meds. And then my friend Josh, I was like still just crying in pain. He's like, can you give her anything else? And they literally told him, we can't give her anymore. Like, you need to pay attention to her breathing. She's had so much, basically. And then finally they come in, and they're like, okay, we're going to take you to do an MRI. It's midnight at this point. So I've been in the ER for 6 hours in pain. Still have not used the restroom. Yeah. So finally they take me to do the MRI, and I'm telling you right now, I can't do an MRI because you have to sit still in MRI. I can't even lay down flat, like without being in excruciating pain. They're like, and so they're like, you just have to do it for like, just sit still as long as you can. So then moving me from my bed to the MRI bed, I'm screaming in pain. They get me in there. I'm crying and screaming. Finally, they get me out, and the MRI tech comes out, and she's like, she needs a catheter and she needs emergency surgery. I'm like, I fucking told you I need.
Yeah, like half of that, like,
and then I'm like, emergency surgery, and they're like, yeah, you're going to surgery in the morning, and I'm like, why? So, I had in the MRI, it showed that I had like blood in the spinal canal, and I was just, it was so messed up. By the time I went into surgery, by the time he got in there, So what had happened, the injection pierced a hole in the nerve sac. So all the nerve endings were coming out of that little pierce and just going insane, which caused blood in the spinal canal. And it was so bad. Nothing severed, thankfully.
That you can sue for, though.
Huh?
That you can sue for, though, can't you? Like, that's the one.
Yeah, the surgeon was like, yeah, that guy screwed you up completely.
Fuck,
But yeah, he said when he got in there, it was a mess. Like, it was so bad. And he did his best to not have to, nothing severed, so he didn't have to do any fusions or anything, which was the game changer. He said, if I would have had to do a fusion, you never would have fought again.
Jesus.
But yeah, he didn't know, though, that I was going to wake up and not be able to move my leg. You know, like when I woke up from surgery, they were doing tests and stuff, and I couldn't feel them touching my feet. I couldn't move my toes. I couldn't, there was just like nothing there. And I felt like, and I had dropped foot really bad. And I just remember, like waking up and feeling like my foot was going to fall off. It was the craziest feeling. And I remember like telling my mom, my foot's falling off. Like my foot, can't hold my foot up, you know?
Like, yeah, you're just on drugs.
That was
you're
the scariest thing ever, waking up and just,
does it feel like
3 days ago, I was preparing for a 5-round war, and I'm an athlete, and today I can't feel my fucking right leg. Can't feel my
right leg, can't even take a piss. Like, goddamn. Well,
yeah. And then it was.
Yeah. No, there's been a delay.
That was a really hard, dark time. You're good.
Yeah.
It was is that better?
Yeah, it's good now.
Yeah. It was like a really hard, dark time because I had to relearn how to walk. I had to regain all those muscles. It fucking sucked. It sucked. I like for the because like basically because my nerves, my brain was not telling my nerves to work my muscles, so all the muscles in my right leg died. So it was almost like I just had a peg, you know.
That must be so fucking. That must be so frustrating.
Oh
just like,
God, it was
go, like I'm telling you to move, like
yes, like. And like I'm telling, it's like they're like, you just gotta talk to it. And I'm like, I'm telling my fucking foot to move and it won't move. It couldn't even tap it, you know?
Like the muscles have like a mind of their own, and
yeah.
Just lost control of it.
You know,
like,
and
where's the controller? Like, where's the person controlling this? Like, please.
And then it's like the scariest thing because it's like you break your arm. They're telling you, okay, you got 8 weeks. I'm like, okay, what's up with this? The surgeon's just like, am I gonna fight again? Am I gonna get it back? They can't tell you yes or no because all he could tell me was, I don't know. Everybody's nerves are different. I can't tell you with nerves. I can't tell you if your nerves are going to work again.
Yeah.
It's up to your brain, you know? So hearing that, it's like, you just, you don't know. It sucked.
Did you think that you'd never fight again, even at that point?
No, I still didn't lose it. No. Still didn't lose it then. It never crossed my mind that I wouldn't fight again. I knew I was going to get it back. And I did.
Seems like it just never crosses your mind to you would never fight again.
After I broke my ankle, it did. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
yeah.